Hey there, fourth graders. So we're here for another lesson of metric conversions. I know they're tricky, and that's okay. Just take a deep breath. This year in fourth grade, the purpose of this is just to introduce you that there is this thing called the metric system and that we can convert between one measure to another. You will hit the metric system again in fifth grade and you'll go a little bit more in depth with it, but the point in fourth grade is just to get us used to it. So if you don't feel like a pro yet, that's okay. Let's just work on some of the basics and then we'll go from there. I actually think today's lesson is a little bit easier. In yesterday's lesson, we were converting from meters to centimeters and millimeters and kilometers, and we can do that. And if you did great at that, that's awesome. Today's is just a little bit more straightforward. So we're talking about today with the metric system, measurements of weight and liquid volume. So how heavy something is and how much liquid water it could hold. And these ones, there's not as many measurements. With length, there's kilometers, meters, centimeters, and millimeters that are all used pretty frequently with the metric system. But with the metric system, these ones are the ones that are basically used. You could still technically have like a kiloliter or a decigram. You could still technically have those things, but we just don't usually measure with them. So with weight, how heavy things are, the basic unit is a gram. And a gram is about the weight of a paperclip. So a gram is not very heavy at all. It's just the weight of a paperclip. A kilogram is about 2 pounds, but it's about the weight of a pineapple. So if you're holding a pineapple in your hand, you have something that's about a kilogram. If you have 2 pounds of potatoes, it's about a kilogram. Liquid volume, on the other hand, so I'm not talking about weight anymore. I'm talking about liquid volume. As liters and milliliters are sort of the two units that are used the most frequently. A liter is about a water bottle. Most water bottles, there might be some bigger or smaller, but like just a regular sized water bottle is probably going to be about a liter. Like this one that I have that you've seen me drink out of all year long, it's a liter. Maybe it's actually just a little bit less than a liter, but a big water bottle is going to be a liter. And then you have milliliters, which is a pretty small amount. And if you remember, milli means 1/1000th of. So 1 milliliter is 1/1000th of a liter, or it takes 1,000 milliliters to make a liter. And I'll talk about how that's with grams and kilograms here in a second. But 1,000 milliliters is going to equal a liter. So it's a really tiny amount. So if you just get out of your kitchen drawer just a spoon, not like a huge spoon, not like a tiny spoon, just a regular spoon that you'd eat your bowl of cereal with, and have just about that much liquid in it, that's about a milliliter. Those of you that have, little siblings, or maybe yourself when you're sick, you get children's Tylenol through the little, it's called a syringe, but the little pushy thingy. Those are measured in milliliters, and a full syringe is usually about 5 milliliters, depending on, the size of the syringe. But so like 1/5 of that, that's a milliliter. So there's 1,000 milliliters in a liter. And if you remember, kilo means 1,000, there's 1,000 grams in a kilogram. So the nice thing about today is that you're only dealing with the number of 1,000, which is pretty slick. So let's see a little bit of how that works. So this is the thing we saw yesterday. And so where we're dealing with on it is we're dealing with our basic unit, which is either going to be grams or liters. We're going to be dealing with kilograms, which is 1,000 grams. And we're going to be dealing with milliliters, which is 1/1000th of a liter, or it takes 1,000 liters to equal, or 1,000 milliliters to equal 1 liter. So if you remember, every box you take, if you're going to the left, you're going to divide by 10. So this box would be divide by 10, divide by 100, divide by 1,000. That would be if we're converting from, say, a gram to a kilogram. If we're converting from a kilogram to a gram, we're going to the right. So every box we take, we're going to multiply by 1,000. So a kilogram to a gram would be times 10, times 10, times 10, or times 10, 100, times 1,000 to get from kilograms to grams. So to convert from kilograms to grams, you're going to times by 1,000. I'll scooch me up over here so you can see that. And if you're converting from liters to milliliters, if you're going from a liter to a milliliter, times 10 times 100 times 1,000, or times 10 times 10 times 10. So from liters to milliliters, it's times 1,000. And then if you were going from milliliters to liters, it would be divide by 1,000. And then if you're going from grams to kilograms, it would be divide by 1,000. But I don't think any of the online stuff today is going to have you dividing. I think it's just multiplying. That's what it shows on my end in the book, and that's how I've done it in the past. So you should only be, multiplying today, and it should just be by 1,000. So let's look at this. 3 kilograms equals blank grams. Well, one way we can think about this is that 1 kilogram, I'm just going to do kg, stands for kilogram, equals 1,000 grams. So that would mean that 2 kilograms equals 2,000 grams. And that would mean that 3 kilograms equals 3,000 grams. That would be one way to think about it. Another way to think about it would be just to know that there's 1,000 grams in a kilogram, so I could do 3 times 1,000 to equal 3,000. Or I could do 3 times 10 for the first hop to hecto, times 10 for deca for the next stop, and then times 10 to get to grams, which would also be any of those 3 ways I just talked about. You would get 3,000 grams. So this next one of liters to milliliters, 1 liter, and liter is just a capital L, is how you abbreviate, equals 1,000 milliliters. I'm not going to go type all those out. But 2 liters would be 2,000 milliliters, 3 liters would be 3,000, 4 liters would be 4,000 milliliters, 5 liters would be 5,000 milliliters, 6 liters would be 6,000 milliliters, and 7 liters would be 7,000 milliliters. So that's one way you could do it, just by counting. You could also say that 7, I know there's 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter, so I have 7 groups of 1,000, so that would be 7 times 1,000. Or you could do 7 times 10 times 10 times 10. Any one of those ways works. But the main thing to remember today is that if you're going from liters to milliliters, you multiply by 1,000. And if you're going from kilograms to grams, you're going to multiply by 1,000. Let's take a look at a few more examples. So this one, kilograms to grams, I have 3 kilograms, and I'm trying to figure out how to get to grams. And if you want to keep this bottom part of the slide video handy, you are more than welcome to do that. But to convert kilograms to grams, I'm going to times by 1,000. So that would be 3 times 1,000, which equals 3,000. And if you wanted to use the picture, you could count each of the steps and know that there's 3 steps. So that'd be 3 times 10 times 10 times 10. You could sure do that. Or you could do 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 because there's 1,000 grams in a kilograms. All of those ways work. Same thing with this one, liters to milliliters. So if I'm converting liters to milliliters, I'm going to multiply by 1,000 because it's 3 hops away, 10, 10, 10, 10 times 10 times 10. So that would be 9 times 1,000 equals 9,000, which would be another way to, that's the first way I showed, but 9 times 1,000 equals 9,000, so 9 liters equals 9,000 milliliters. And you could also do, so I know there's 1,000 milliliters in a liter, so I could do 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 9 times to get 9,000, or that's repeated addition, which we know is multiplication to get there. This last one is a less than, greater than, or equal to. I probably should have put that at the top. Less than, greater than, or equal to question. Oop, I gotta hit shift. Shift, less than, greater than, or equal to. Oh man. 3rd time's the charm, right folks? Less than, greater than, equal to. So this one I'm trying to figure out whether 3 liters is bigger than 3,500 milliliters. When I'm comparing these, I always like to compare apples to apples. And what I mean by that is I always want to make sure that these are the same unit. It just makes my life so much easier because then I know for sure that I'm being very accurate in how I'm working. So I can choose to go from milliliters to liters and divide by 1,000. Or I can convert from liters into milliliters and multiply by 1,000. Me personally, I would much rather multiply a number by 1,000 than divide a number by 1,000. So if I have the chance to do that, I'm going to. So I'm going to take the liters, which is 3 of them, And I'm going to convert them into milliliters. So to do that, I would do 3 times 1,000, which equals 3,000. So my new number sentence is 3,000 milliliters less than, greater than, or equal to 3,500 milliliters. And in that case, it's super easy. Then it's just a matter of comparing the numbers once I have them in the same unit. So which one's bigger, folks? 3,000 milliliters or 3,500 milliliters? I completely agree. I think it's 3,500 milliliters. So that means that 3 liters is less than 3,500 milliliters. Thank you for watching. I hope this lesson goes a little bit smoother. I know this metric stuff's bumpy. Just try and get the gist of where we're heading, and then we'll meet back together in May, and I will iron all this stuff out. And then, of course, you hit the metric system again in 5th grade and go a little bit deeper. But when we come back in May, I will iron this out a little bit more. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck. Bye-bye.